welcome to Unscripted, an RCC podcast where we do our best to help inspire you to have better conversations and to help you think deeply about life and faith and leadership. And I'm your host, Sam, and I'm here with my good friend and pastor, Mike Halba. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Sam. Think deeply about life and leadership, and I'm curious where that goes today, but
yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll get there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we'll get there still.
Okay.
But we are going to have a little fun today. You know a little bit about this. I mean, we've talked about the fact that we wanted to talk about Christmas for a little bit because this is like a Christmas episode. This is coming out right before Christmas. And
I like your red sweater.
Thank you. I tried to be a little Christmassy.
Is that even green underneath? That's hard to tell from here.
No, it's not green.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have pointed that out, I guess.
Thanks.
But red's not. You beat me, so
I did.
I got the message, like, where's something Christmassy, but I don't know if I really have anything Christmassy.
Yeah, I feel like if you have Christmassy things, it's like a button down. It's like the one thing you wear on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Okay, here's a Christmas secret.
Sure.
Every year I stress about what to wear on Christmas Eve.
I totally get that.
I don't know. And a lot of times it hasn't been all that Christmassy, but hopefully people don't really notice.
I've learned my lesson with that. Like I've got like a couple of Christmas sweaters, like two of them.
Yeah.
And like I just plan on keeping those. Otherwise, like if I have a tendency to throw away clothes or get rid of them, donate them. Yeah. Because I don't know, it's just what I do. And I tend to get rid of the Christmas sweater because I don't wear it all year. Yeah. And then
same here. I've had a couple of different red Christmas sweaters, a red Christmas vest, sort of a red shirt, and I wear it on Christmas, and then there's like no way I'd ever wear that any other time. Yeah. And I don't really want to wear it the next Christmas because like everyone knows I just wore it last Christmas. So then I just feel stupid for buying it. So maybe for like the last 10 years, I just wear something like white or black because I feel that goes with every holiday.
Okay, that's
my Christmas strategy.
That's a great idea. It's totally off
So if you're going to a Christmas party and you can always wear white or black.
Yeah, you totally
That's
can.
a message for all the dudes out there.
Super smart. You know who I envy? I don't know if you know this, but like Mark Zuckerberg and other people, like they have one outfit.
Yeah.
I kind of want to be that person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I should have gone with a black t-shirt like 20 years ago.
And just kept with it.
Everyone knows you wear a black t-shirt. No one really cares.
You got like 17 of them.
Exactly. You never got to think about it.
That would be awesome.
That was a giant mistake when I came to start this church.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Maybe.
People can like email in and let me know if they want to make the move to black t-shirts.
What should be the designated outfit?
Yeah.
All right. So that's totally off topic. But what I do want to talk about is Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So it's kind of a bummer. We don't get to have Christmas Eve in person this year. We're not planning on doing that. We're doing Christmas in the street. When this airs, that'll already have happened. So that's going to be super fun. I can't wait for that. But since we're not doing Christmas Eve, I thought it'd be just kind of a little bit of fun to just talk about the crazy stories from Christmas Eve's past.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to title this episode. Yeah. Crazy stories from RCC Christmas Eve's past.
Good. I've done a lot more reminiscing this year even than usual because we don't have the big Christmas Eve event. And
for sure.
So I've spent more time thinking about past events and the good and bad of them.
Totally. Yeah. So I'm curious, like what stories do you have from Christmas Eve's past?
There's pretty much something every year that is an interesting story. Like, there's no way to tell the whole church. You're not going to get up on January whatever and say, hey, this is what happened 2 weeks ago. And that's not what sermons are about. But hopefully sort of interesting, I think. Like the first Christmas ever, it was a mess. We'd started the church in September, so we're just a few months old as a church. And like, we didn't know what we were doing. Like that, every week was a giant adventure to just try to pull it off. And you knew Christmas was going to be big and more people come at Christmas than normal Sundays. And so there was that nervousness. And everything we had back then, like we didn't have money, we didn't have stuff. So anything we used for a service was something like someone gave me they didn't want anymore. So some wires or like a speaker or whatever, a soundboard. It was all just kind of like patched together, sort of junky stuff that someone was throwing out and gave to me instead. That's how we put stuff together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I had really nice people, volunteers.
Did you used to have like a CD player, or was it like a tape deck?
We had a cassette deck originally.
Okay, I was gonna say
not 8-track at least, but
okay.
That's just what it was, and it was fine. Like it's just like at home, like when you're starting out, you just make the best of what you have, and it's almost kind of fun. That's how church was at the beginning. But it was always tenuous. Like it might work, it might not work. A local radio station used to come through the speaker wires. So all of a sudden in the middle of a service, you'd hear the radio.
You start jamming out.
It was kind of spooky. Like you're up there
Totally.
talking about God and all of a sudden you're hearing these voices and weird stuff happened back then because we just didn't have very good stuff at all. Well, like the Sunday right before Christmas Eve, I had 2 volunteers helping and one that I knew really well and one that I didn't know very well. And they got like in a huge argument over the equipment because it wasn't working right that Sunday. Mm-hmm. And it's pressure, like people are coming in and they got to make it work right. Well, one of the volunteers got so angry with the other volunteer, they literally came down from the balcony of church, walked down the center aisle with people like 5 minutes before the service, people in the room, and started hollering at me from the floor.
5 minutes before the service?
5 minutes before service.
Okay.
And like, this place stinks, you stink, the other volunteers stink. And he had a key for the building because he did sound. He threw the key at me on stage and said he quit and walked out.
Way.
Well, I was like super embarrassed, right? Because there's maybe, I don't know, 20 or 40 people in the rooms, before the service at that point. And they all heard it. And I felt like I looked like a ding dong. So he leaves. And therefore, we didn't have any sound for that service. Like the microphones didn't work, the soundboard, nothing worked. So I did the whole service from stage without amplification, which, was okay once. But now like Christmas is coming in 2 days, the first Christmas.
Oh, so this is before
the
Christmas
this is
Eve.
the Sunday right before Christmas Eve. Like Christmas Eve was like a Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was fine. We made it through. But now Christmas Eve is in 2 days, and I know it's going to be packed. Like it's going to be the biggest service we've ever done, 4 months old as a church. And I was so mad at the other volunteer, who I knew really well, that I'm friends with, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as Sunday service was over, I'm like, you are coming in on Christmas Eve morning, because service is like 5 or 6 p.m., and you and I are going to fix the sound system. And he's like, you don't know anything about the sound system. I said, I know that, but it's just you and I. This is it. This is the team. And we came in Christmas Eve morning, and we worked all day, like literally all day, never took a break, never ate. And the whole time I'm grumbling. Like crabby people grumble, like under my breath the whole time, mad at him for this situation, because I'm like, if you just would have been more understanding of the other dude, maybe he wouldn't have walked out. He didn't do anything wrong. My friend didn't do anything wrong, but the other dude was pretty sensitive and just got angry. So the whole time I'm grumbling, and like an hour before the service, finally it worked. So I drove home as fast as I could, showered, put on some sort of Christmas sweater, we talked about. I don't remember what it was. And then, came back, and literally people are packed in. They're on the staircase. They didn't even fit in the room. There were so many people. And I still wasn't sure if this thing would actually work. That's our first Christmas.
Did it work?
I was scared to death the whole time. And it worked.
Cut out, right?
All this stuff worked. The tech stuff worked. That was our first Christmas.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it was a success. You did.
It was. No, I don't think people really knew.
Yeah.
And I think they enjoyed the service. They came back, so that's always the sign. But
were you like really stressed before that first one? Like, was it like super, super stressed, or was it just in the moment, like that day it was super stressed?
It's 20 years and I'm always like super, like that's just part of it. This isn't like something normally to talk about, but I always have bad dreams. Like the week or two before, I don't sleep well. I don't like, and they're not bad dreams like monsters and stuff, but like it's always like a weird dream. Like the service isn't at church; it's in some business, like wherever, McDonald's basement.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm looking around. It's like there's only room for 8 people. How are we going to do this? And then no one comes, or I'm speaking and like no one's listening at all. It's always these like weirdo dreams of like messed up Christmas services.
Just listen.
Yeah, come on.
I can't talk.
Yeah, so it's every year. Every year it's messed up.
I pity you for that. I've had more weird dreams lately.
Yeah.
So I imagine that for Christmas Eve that you have some pretty weird dreams.
I've started, like, even the last couple of days this year, even though we don't have the big Christmas Eve service, we have Christmas in the street, we have special RCC Christmas at home. I've already started with the weird dreams. My brain must know I'm thinking about it all day. I don't know.
Well, there you go. So that's the first Christmas. Did the second Christmas go better?
Yeah, it did. Like the church grew. Like we started with nobody, and by the second Christmas, we had like 500 people for that service. So the room was, giant packed twice, which was amazing. But like there was just so much work to do leading up to it. Like brand new. I'm a year into this now. Like it's just a lot of work. There's a lot more phone calls and counseling things around Christmas time. I was just packed with work. So I got all the way up to the Christmas Eve service the second year. And I had not worked on the sermon at all yet. I didn't know what to do.
You hadn't worked on the sermon.
I had nothing like 2 days before. And what I decided is I'm just going to redo the sermon I did from the first year.
Did you change it at all?
No, not really. I didn't have time. Like, so I gave the exact same sermon 2 Christmas Eves in a row, and I kind of made myself feel better about it because I thought it was halfway decent at least.
It was like your best sermon last year.
Yeah, probably. and like I knew that there'd be like twice as many people, so I knew at least half of the people hadn't seen it the year before.
Yeah, they're good to go.
So it was new for them, and it was okay. Like it all went okay, and I went home afterwards, and my sister and brother-in-law were up visiting to support and come up for Christmas. They lived by Milwaukee. And they came up, and my brother-in-law, I've known him since I've been a little kid. We have a really good relationship. He's super good to me. Always has been super good to me. And he kind of pulled me aside. And he's not someone who goes to church all the time, right?
Yeah.
And he pulled me aside at home after the service. And he's like, I'm like, I don't know if you know this about church stuff, but like,
he's telling you about church
you're not
stuff.
supposed to do the same sermon every year. I've been here twice ever, and I saw the same sermon twice. There's going to be people not happy about that.
That's hilarious.
And and he's my brother-in-law, and I love him, and we have this great relationship. So I basically just told him to shut up and leave me alone. And now let's have some cookies.
We're like,
something.
I know.
That's the best I could do. So,
oh man.
So year 2 was the exact same service as year 1.
That's awesome. Yeah. My first Christmas here, I don't know if you remember this or not, but
I do.
My first Christmas, we had a very interesting message, and it was maybe a little controversial. The plan was to talk about keeping Christ in Christmas, because you see these signs everywhere.
Yep.
And so we put signs all throughout the whole high school, because we had moved to the high school obviously a long time before I'd even gotten here. Yep. But service were at the high school. Signs when you drove in, when you drove out, all said, keep Christ in Christmas. And then you get up on stage and you give a sermon that says, don't keep Christ in Christmas, as in like, hey, don't just limit Christ to like Christmas.
One day a year.
Yeah. Have him
He's
all
important
year round.
every day year round.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't. And we were going to do something really like fun and interesting, and kind of like really reinforce the point where I, new person on staff, was to go outside and take these little magnetic or sticker things and put them on all the signs and have it say, don't keep Christ in Christmas. Yeah. And so I did that.
Yeah. So people would see that when they left.
Yeah, like, totally. Yep. I was doing my job, doing the right thing.
Yep.
And I go out, and it's cold out, it's rainy, it's slushy, it's slippery. And I'm putting these on all over the place. And
because there's like 20 or 40 signs. There's a lot of signs.
Yeah. A lot of signs. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, from across the way, I'm like down the street a little bit, because you have like go in and out of the high school back before the addition. And I can still like picture it. There's a particular person in the church who was like yelling at me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm gonna get you.
Because it was dark, he didn't recognize you.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And this is he's a very intimidating individual when you come across this person. And I'm like, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I was frightened out of my boots. I don't know. Like, that's the message. Don't keep Christ in Christmas. Yeah. And finally he like figured it out, and it was okay. But for a moment, I was scared I was going to get just tackled.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about, and you could outrun him. So you weren't really in that much danger, I think.
Yeah,
you got running.
I probably could have, but in that moment, I didn't even think of that. I was like fight or flight. And apparently, I went towards like trying to convince him. Yeah. But it was great. It was great. We talked about it. I think it's a good laugh now. But
I'm happy you didn't quit that day. This job stinks. I'm out.
That was my first one. I don't know. That was pretty great.
It's funny you talk about that being at the high school. The first time we were ever at the high school was, I think, our third Christmas, and that was new for us, right? Like we hosted all the services here at this building, and like in the third year we started all the big services, Christmas and Easter and a few special ones at the high school. That's how we started at the high school. We did it for years. But the first one there, again, it's hectic. We had we packed the place, so now it's up to like almost 1,000 people coming. And so there's just a lot to do. And so you're running around getting stuff done beforehand.
Definitely.
And, I went up on stage. I'm like, okay, this will work. And here's where the podium is going to be. And here's my notes. And I'm kind of good to go. And ran around, did some more stuff. Well, then worship started. And the lighting was messed up. Like I'm sitting there waiting to go speak. And, it's sometimes I can focus on the songs. Sometimes I'm still kind of worried about what I'm going to say. It's always different. But I was trying to focus on the songs. And the band looked like Fright Night. I mean, the lighting was horrible. It looked like you're at a campfire, and you do scary stories at a campfire with a flashlight. That's how they looked. And I'm like looking around, going, "This is horrible. Like we're supposed to have this great service, and everyone's gonna be afraid of the band." So that's what I'm thinking as I go up to speak, right? So I go up to speak, and I'm trying to keep my thoughts in my head and remember what I want to say. And I walk up to the podium, and the lighting switches, for a speaker than for the band. It's different lighting, and the lighting comes on, and I hadn't checked it at all. Well, the lighting comes on, and I'd never experienced this before. The spotlights were so bright. If I looked out, like I'd see like stars or whatever, and it was so dark out there in the auditorium for how they did the lighting the first time. I literally couldn't see anyone. It was a black wall.
That's the worst.
It was a black wall. So I have spots in my eyes. I'm trying to see my notes, and I literally can't see a single person in the room, which is hard for me because when I'm talking, I'm more talking to people. Like I'm looking around the room and I'm thinking about people I know. And for me, it's just a conversation. And now I'm like talking in a black room. I was so thrown off. it is like I was stumbling through everything.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So ever since that was the time, like I learned, like, okay, make sure you check everything.
No
first.
wonder you care about lighting so much.
Even
right?
now, like, like, okay, what's it going to look like? What,
exactly.
Where's the light?
We have to test it beforehand.
Yeah. That happened all because of that first time at the high school, the first Christmas at the high school.
You didn't even get like any feedback. That I know how that is. Like if you're talking to a black wall, it's super hard. You don't even have like the mirror of yourself.
No.
Like I don't know if you've ever given a message to a mirror before, but
I can't because I'm judging myself the whole time. I don't like my own sermons usually, so I look in the mirror. I don't want to hear that business.
Yeah. Do you remember when we changed drummers an hour before the service?
Yeah.
So there was that one time when we had a drummer.
The year we almost didn't have music at the Christmas service.
Almost didn't. The drummer
like 5
literally
years ago,
falls off of like the platform that's up there, the drums are on,
Yeah.
breaks a finger. And like I think it was like distorted, like it was
not.
contorted.
Yeah, it didn't.
There was no drumming.
Didn't look good. Yeah, his finger was definitely really, really broken.
Gosh, that was awful.
That was.
And then somebody else comes in, and like hour before the service, I don't know how long it was. Adam, do you know how long it was? He was cutting it close. Okay.
Yeah, Adam got on the phone. He's like, hey, who can drum today?
And like within an hour, this person like did the drumming of their life and like saved the Christmas Eve service.
I always said we should turn that into a children's book,
Yeah, totally.
The year the drummer saved Christmas.
It's totally it. That was great.
That'd be a great children's book.
Yeah, I think this is so fun to talk about because, I mean, there's so many behind the scenes things that happen that you can't really just like, hey, just let you know we have a different drummer or the sound guy quit or whatever. It's fun to talk about because, I mean, I'm really going to miss seeing people this year for Christmas Eve, but it's always fun to have a little bit of silliness and fun stories.
Right. I mean, like, as you talk about it, like really like all the stories are about people, and that's really what it's about. And it's amazing because all that could go on, sort of behind the scenes, not really hidden.
No.
You're not trying to hide it, but you don't get out on stage and talk about it either. That's kind of weird. So all that went on, and yet, for all these years, this is our 19th Christmas. I've given the sermon at 17 of them. All these years, there's so many people that it's affected and have mostly, had positive.
Mostly.
Yeah.
I know that there's the times when maybe somebody doesn't like the service and like they dart out afterwards. I've experienced this a couple times, and like one of them was we just finished the service, and it's such a funny juxtaposition. Like that one person comes out and they're like, "That was awful. You're like sacrilegious, terrible. You offended, whatever." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know that we were trying to honor God, yada yada." And they walk and leave, like kind of huff. And then like hundreds of people come out after them. That was amazing. I loved your sermon, the worship. Oh my goodness. And so it's like, what do you do in that situation?
I'll just say it. Like if you're listening right now, that's happened a couple of times. And if I ever seem weird after the service, you never know what the person right before you just said.
No kidding.
So there was a Christmas one not that long ago. When my part of the service was done, where we have the closing songs, and I think the band is amazing. They're doing a fantastic job. So I'm like relieved I'm done.
Yeah,
it just feels good. Like, okay, I'm done. I didn't screw up. And the band is so good. I'm loving that. And I'm out in the hallway outside of the high school auditorium, and just waiting to greet people and excited because that's the fun part for me. Like to get to see everyone. The stage isn't the fun part for me. The foyer is the fun part for me.
Definitely.
And the first person out, like the last song's not even quite over. So they really wanted to be the first person out. Comes flying out and like walking super fast right towards me. And I thought, this is here they come. Here comes the people. And he comes up to me and someone I didn't know and says, that sermon was horrible.
Oh no.
Christmas is all about Jesus. You obviously don't care about Jesus. That was terrible. You didn't talk about Jesus enough. And that sermon stinks. You stink. Your church stinks. No one should ever come here again, and walked away.
That is so
and then
sad.
everyone else starts coming back out. And so like you're shocked, right? Like that
totally
person just
shocked.
dumped on you.
No kidding.
And the next person comes up and says, "Merry Christmas, Mike." And thanks. And then you're trying to recover and like have a normal conversation, but like you can have 100 people tell you like thank you or it was really nice. But for me,
that one
is just keeps running in there. It's like, why did they think that? And I don't care enough about Jesus. Are you nuts? That's all I care about. It's Christmas.
I changed my life for that.
Yeah, so I just I don't know. You never know.
You never know.
You never know. So if any of us are ever acting weird in the foyer, You never know what might have just happened before.
That's really true. You just don't know. But at the same point, like, I don't know if I've ever left a Christmas Eve service without having so many people. It just, like, there's something about it. I think that and Easter are my two favorite services every year, just because there's just such an emotion to it. There's families that are together. Like, I'm curious, like, for you, what are you going to miss most about it this year?
The kids, actually.
Really?
For
kids.
Christmas or Easter, I'd say the same for both, but it's just special. I mean, Christmas is always special, and all that cool Christmas stuff that comes along with it is great. It's fun to celebrate all of it, even cookies and all of it. But like on Christmas Eve, to see the kids running around, and lots of times like they might have like a Christmas outfit or something, and it's just, it all seems right in the world. It's like everyone sings the songs because we all know the songs, and it's just special. So I'm gonna miss the kids are our families, and all the energy of the kids, and they're running and jumping in the hallways, and I just really, really like that. That makes me happy.
I love that you say kids. For me, I think it's there's this freedom to like be really grateful for people in those days. Yeah. So when people come in that you maybe haven't seen in a while, but you could just say Merry Christmas and give them a big hug. Yeah. And there's something just right about that, where people kind of have their barriers down a little bit. They're more warm and fuzzy, and like they want to show affection. And I feel like those are the moments where our church feels the most like family. Yeah. And so I just love that feeling. I'm going to miss that feeling. Yeah,
I kind of wish I would have said that. That you're right. Like I'm a hugger. Like I like to hug people.
Totally.
And Christmas, people are more huggy. Like they're totally just much more apt to like Merry Christmas and give you a hug. And that just energizes me, and I like it. So yeah, that's dang. I wish you wouldn't have brought that up.
Sorry.
I'm going to really miss that this year.
And on that note, I mean, I think we're both going to miss seeing the people that come through there. And it's weird, like, to think about not being able to see them and give them those hugs. And so I thought this would be an opportunity to ask you, like, if you could say anything to them, like you normally say a Christmas hello or Merry Christmas or something like that, what would you want to say because you can't be there?
Oh, well, I'll say it right to the camera. Like, I miss you guys. It's been like 9 months. It's horrible. It just is horrible. Sundays are just not the same. For me, Sunday is the center of my week. Everything kind of revolves around Sunday, personal life and work life. And to not see anyone, like really, I mean, not a little bit, but not like normal. It's just, I just miss everybody. I don't know. I don't, maybe they may not think it's emotional as it is, but it really is, because this is a family to me. I've spent most of my adult life here. Yeah. So it's just like the family hasn't gotten together in a really long time.
Totally. I was thinking about that, how like right now people are going to be doing different kinds of Christmases. I mean, we're scaling back a ton. One of my favorite things about Christmas growing up was going to all the cousins' houses and or going to big family gatherings and that sort of thing. And that's not happening this year. Yeah. And church is the same way. And I know that it's not what it will be or what it has been in the past, but we're trying to be creative in how we interact with things and how we interact with other people and engage people. But I mean, I just want people to know, like, I want to wish them a Merry Christmas, right? Like, I hope you all have the most Merry Christmas. And I know it won't be the same, but I hope you can feel that from us. I hope you know that we care deeply about you, and we can't wait to spend Christmases in the future with you. We might even have, like, I don't know. I want to have Christmas before next Christmas, like do something fun. We'll see.
All right. Maybe, Christmas in July.
Right?
There you go. Let's, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Let me ask you just one more fun question, just to keep it Christmassy. What is your favorite part about Christmas, non-churchy?
All right. That's a good question, because Christmas is kind of weird for me.
It is.
Like I said earlier, in the couple of weeks leading up to Christmas, they're very intense, time-intensive work weeks. So, I mean, my kids grew up with that. They know that, but Christmas in our house probably isn't like most houses. I mean, other jobs, UPS workers work a ton, like right before Christmas. So it's not like we're the only ones that work a lot. But there's more hours, and I'm so concerned for it, because, like 1,000, 2,000 people have come on Christmas. So there's just a certain, like I said, it gives me bad dreams, like whatever. There's a lot of stress. And then you have the big Christmas Eve service, And, there's all the hugs and things that we talked about. They're so beautiful. And then you go home.
And you're exhausted.
I'm so exhausted.
I bet.
I love Christmas with the kids, especially when they're little. And I always bought too many gifts. And, Christmas is just super fun that way. And I like toys. So half the gifts I bought were just toys I wanted to play with too.
It's the best.
That's all still there. But you're just exhausted. And it usually, even like Christmas morning, that's the reality of the life. And you said what other part of Christmas would I miss?
Or what do you love about it?
What do I love about it? And so I in a sense sort of love that, which is weird, right? I'm telling you the story, and I could almost you think I was whining about it, but I love it because of the focus it is, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you can lose focus at Christmas. It can become all about the gifts or making it to people's houses or whatever, and you kind of forget about your faith. It's normal. I mean, you're not a horrible person if you do that. But for me, I have to be so focused. I like that, even though it's work and stuff. I like it. I like that it's so faith centric or Jesus centric. I really, really like that part of Christmas for me. I love the gifts. I love food. I don't have a problem with any of that. Eggnog once a year is amazing. There's so much, but it's the faith focus that I like the most. It's easy. Like that's a gift in our job, right? It's easy to stay focused on Jesus.
Yeah, it is.
Your job is at a church.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my wife Meg has started a little tradition this year. Like we're always so crazy busy, and maybe it's a bit more toned down because we can't even go anywhere else at night. So at least our nights are at home, and we're like doing things together. And instead of doing like some big long Advent thing, she's like, let's just do the 12 days, and Sam, you can read something, and I'll give the kids chocolate, and they'll love it. Yeah. And so like this has been the first Christmas we've really done that pretty well, and we're like 3 days into it, but it's been really sweet. Like the boys get some chocolate. They actually listen to what I read in the Bible instead of like just ignoring it. And it's like this really sweet, fun thing to keep it focused. So for me, like, I've always loved traditions. I've never been great at organizing them. My wife is much better at that sort of thing than I am.
Yeah, same here. I mean, if it were up to me, there'd be no Christmas decorations or a Christmas tree. Or
yeah, totally.
So that's all Janet.
Yeah, it's all Meg, and she's really good at it. But I'm actually really enjoying it because we can't go anywhere as much as we normally would. So it feels like we're actually kind of taking the sweetness in the moment and trying to use it a little bit, which I'm really grateful for.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the takeaway from this for everyone listening.
Totally.
There's definitely some limitations because of COVID, but you can also kind of take a step back and think, and what special can you do also because of COVID? That's what you're talking about, and that's what I've heard people all throughout these 9 months. Like, there's no doubt that COVID has caused so much stress and difficulty in homes and all that stuff, but I have heard plenty of stories of people using it in a way to enhance a relationship or study more or whatever it may be. So it's possible. So I hope for people that listen to this, I hope they take advantage of what they can take advantage of.
I completely agree. So total sidebar.
Okay.
You talked about crazy dreams. The crazy dream I had the other day was about getting a vaccine, and it was like green colored, and we were getting it before we were supposed to, and it was a really weird, awkward dream.
Okay.
I thought you'd enjoy that for a second. Did COVID has messed with my dreams. It's really made me have some weird ones.
Did it work?
I don't know. I woke up too soon. But it was green, which I thought was ironic, like a superhero thing, right? Or a supervillain. Maybe.
Yeah, that fits the weird one. I hope you're not catching my illness of bad dreams before Christmas.
I hope not to. But I agree with you. Like doing some sweet things before Christmas right now, and doing things in a way where, because of COVID, because of these different circumstances, there are ways that you can choose to enjoy this season. And while we can't meet right now, I'm grateful that we can wish people Merry Christmas. I'm grateful that we can celebrate with the at-home service, the RCC at home for Christmas.
I really hope it's going to be special.
Yeah.
I really hope it's the best we can offer this year.
I think there's going to be some really sweet parts of it. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that as well. Do you have any other last takeaways, or are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I don't know. Like I said, I'm excited about Christmas in the Street. I'm excited about what we're offering at home. In the midst of missing everyone, I think it is the best we can do.
Yeah.
And you can always choose to be upset or sad or whatever, or excited or happy or optimistic. And I'm optimistic that given our current circumstances, it will still be a special Christmas.
Me too. I'm grateful for the fact that we can still be a church and still celebrate Christmas together and celebrate Jesus coming into the world to change everything.
Yeah.
So with that, I want to say a couple quick little bookkeeping notes. Y'all have had some fantastic feedback. I've gotten so many emails of encouragement, and you guys are loving this so far. So really grateful for that. Again, you can follow us on Instagram at RCC Unscripted. You can check us out on Spotify or iTunes, or we'll keep those YouTube videos coming. So enjoy those, share those. We're so grateful for you guys interacting. This has been really fun, but also I feel like really impactful. So thank you for sharing how it's impacted you, and continue to. And if you have questions for me to ask Mike, I want to hear them, because I'm really looking forward to surprising him with some fun questions. I hope you enjoyed our Christmassy, fun Christmas Eve stories today. And with that, Merry Christmas.